Hey, it's Dr. Habib. So I'm here at Serve a Meal, part of BDesh. So I'm happy to be part of it. I wanted to be able to educate people. Today, we have a guest with Imam Magid, but unfortunately he's not here right now. So I thought we'll continue. And when he comes in, we can talk about more spiritual stuff. But, you know, this is what, day number 15 almost? Is it day number 15? It's halfway through almost. So, you know, I wanted to just reinforce some of the benefits of what we're doing with this fasting. And if you can keep it together, then what you'll find is that all this health benefits can really materialize. But I'm going to have to reiterate some of the basic stuff again. So the main thing is when we start the fast, we have to be very careful how we start the fast. And then just as importantly, when you break the fast, how you break it. But whilst you're fasting, and you're feeling hungry, that's really the health benefits. The hunger is actually the release of a hormone called ghrelin, and that hormone is designed to tell your brain you're hungry, so you'd eat. And so when we resist that hunger, the body continues to make that ghrelin. It comes from the stomach lining. And that is what's called the growth hormone releasing hormone. So whilst you're hungry and you feel hunger, you're actually activating growth hormone. That's one of the reasons why you can almost be guaranteed not to waste away, because temporarily the growth hormone is released. Temporarily, even amino acids like leucine is released. And leucine is the most abundant amino acid. So your body is ready to sustain itself or maintain itself whilst it's not being fed at all. And so those health benefits don't just stop there. When you don't eat anything, you'll be surprised. In the short term, the intermittent fasting that we talk about, or time feeding, what we're doing right now, you know, so we are fasting only for a period of time. So it's timed feeding. We're starting at 5:15 maybe, and we finish at say 7:45. That's a period of time feeding. And some people describe that as intermittent fasting. So some of the benefits of not eating during that time is that your intestines start to work more. They actually have the better ability. It's called mechanical protein metallomatrix. Protein metallomatrix. I always like to say the right word. So anyway, the point is these are mechanical aspects of the intestinal muscle lining. And when you're fasting, they actually activate. Conversely, of course, when you're eating, your muscle does move, your motility does move. But it's you know, when you're constantly eating, the system that is what we call prokinesis, where the food you eat goes and gets processed down below, you know, that doesn't work so well when we're exhausting the muscle. And so when you're fasting, actually you're regenerating, you're actually healing the gut. So the gut can have stronger motility, and that means better bowel movement and less constipation. So some of the other benefits of fasting is that you know, when you're eating, it's a huge metabolic demand on the body. So that means that your body actually has to expend a lot of fuel and utilizes a lot of its resources in the gut function. This may sound kind of strange, but the answer is, yes, we must eat. And when we do eat that one meal a day, maybe 2 meals a day, that means that we're giving the gut rest in between. And that's the right way to do it, because eating actually increases toxic burden on the body temporarily. Eating actually uses up fuel temporarily. So eating actually it consumes, especially if you eat raw foods. You know, some people love eating salads and raw foods. They actually consume more of the detoxifying capabilities of your liver temporarily. So really, eating is a high energy process, and that's why we don't need to eat as much, because we actually can function at a better level on lower calories. As far as studies go, people who have been studied, these are not just the people on a diet. We're talking about people who are on a study where they take fewer calories. We call that caloric restrictions. They have less disease and a longer lifespan. But intermittent fasting, which means that it's not about just reducing calories. In fact, with intermittent fasting, you can eat the same number of calories, but only during a certain window. So that, like fasting, like Ramadan, where we're only eating at suhoor and at iftar, that period of timing where we're not eating, that period is actually is been shown to actually help people burn fat more effectively than caloric restrictions. Not only burn more fat, they actually have less blood pressure and disease than with caloric restriction. And so the benefit of the fasting is not only the benefits during the fast, but when you break your fast, you actually raise what we call ketones in your body. You're able to produce more ketones, which is kind of a clean fuel, a healthy fuel. Sugar is very, very useful. It's like high octane fuel, but it's toxic in high amounts. So then beyond the glucose, you have to have other sources of fuel. That's where the body can break down fat to make ketones. So whilst you're fasting, your body is breaking down ketones. And even when the fasting is over, the body now has actually more ketones than in people who just restrict calories. So let's talk about, starting fast and breaking fast. Maybe the easiest one is talking about when you break your fast. So when you break your fast, try not to break it with something where you spike your sugar. Because if you spike your sugar, you're going to spike insulin. And that actually may blunt that growth hormone response that you had throughout the day. That may blunt that amino acid from going into the muscles. Because when you have a spike in insulin, what happens is that you go into what's called a storage mode. And so if you are eating carbs, then your body will store more triglycerides in the liver, in the muscle fibers, in your body fat. And some of the fats that you might eat may also be absorbed. So your body can only metabolize one thing at a time. Either it's going to metabolize carbohydrates at a time, it's going to metabolize protein at one time, or fats at one time. It just sounds almost incredible, but I suspect the body shuffles between the two. But when you have a meal like a French fry, or food like French fries, where you have refined carbs, that means that's the first thing that's going to get metabolized. Then the fat from the French fries is going to go straight to storage. If you have a samosa, what's going to happen is that the refined carbs from the bread and the potato filling potentially is going to be, it's going to be broken down into glucose, and that has to be metabolized. And if you have excess amounts, it's going to be stored as triglyceride, a type of cholesterol. And so the fat, that is where the samosa is being fried, if you're burning sugar, the body cannot burn the fat. So samosa, French fries, things which are carbohydrate rich and fat rich at the same time will actually make you gain body fat. So I'm sure people kind of may have been aware that samosa may not be that great for them, and paratha, we call it paratha, but paratha, the layers of phyllo bread there, those we know are essentially bad. They're bad because it's a combination of carbohydrates, particularly refined carbohydrates, with fat. And the body will always try to burn carbohydrates first. So if that's the case, then the fat that you consume at the same time has to be stored. So that's the worst combination that you can have. So why not break your fast with the chickpeas? Why not break your fast with the halim? Why not break your fast with some kind of protein? If you like different types of cheeses, you've got hummus, you've got baba ganoush, you've got soups, you've got stews, those are the things to eat. What happens is that people think of iftar as a place to sort of enjoy breaking the fast with fried stuff. And I think you should get away from that. As I told you, that fried stuff, if you have carbohydrates with it, the carbs are the ones that get metabolized first. All that fat and the grease is going to be stored as your body fat. And then, you go to your prayer and come for your main meal, so-called. And my advice is you break your fast as quickly as possible with something like water and maybe a partial date. One big manjun date is 10 grams of sugar, maybe 14 grams almost, at least 2 teaspoons of sugar. So that's a huge insulin surge. And for diabetics, you can be sure that the blood sugar is going to go up from, normal to 200 easily. And it's not higher, frankly. So look, the other part is suhoor. When you want to start your fast. Look, I personally like coconuts, so I like baby coconuts. So the pulp of the young coconut is full of fat. So fat and almonds and seeds and cashews, these things will fill you up, yet they'll have no sugar. They'll have no surge of insulin. And your body won't store it. Your body will have to convert that fat into fuel. That fuel is called ketone. So when you're starting your fast, I would say that you should do it in the same way that you break your fast, with the chickpeas and the lentils and the proteins. You can have even meats, the lean meats, the shrimp and the chicken, the fish. You can eat those things, but so long as you try to stay away from ultimately the refined carbohydrates. So look, I think halfway through Ramadan, we're getting a little bit tired. We're staying up a little bit later at night. Our sleep is being disrupted. So what you find is that if you burden your body with a lot of food, that's going to be a lot of work that the body has to deal with first thing in the morning and the last thing when we break our fast. And I think that when we break our fast, there's absolutely no need to feel that you have to make up for the lost lunch, should we say. I think that generally when people have been fasting, their stomachs have shrunk to some degree. You feel like your body is shrunken because you're dehydrated. It's true. Even your stomach is shrunk. So when you fill it up with even liquids, you tend to get full faster. And so I think that the aim is that not to sit at your table for a prolonged period of time. You really need to think about just quickly finishing your prayer and having that one meal and then moving on, spend some time with the family around the meal and go ahead and go for your prayer. And when you come back, I know it sounds like a bit of a robot, but then maybe it's a good idea to get to sleep, because if you can get to sleep by 10:30, 11, that's going to be much better quality sleep than when you go to bed at midnight or 1 o'clock. So you could have the same amount of sleep, but you go later, you're less rested. The studies have shown that when that happens, that then your cognition goes down. That means your brain power goes down. So the ultimate quality sleep has to follow what we call a circadian rhythm. And that means that ideally if people go to bed earlier, like 9 o'clock, and wake up at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. Now, of course, people can't go to bed at 9 o'clock right now. So I think we have our chief guest here. So we're going to just wait for Imam Magid and have him sit down. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. How you're the chief guest, so we wanted your words of wisdom here.
Dr. Mohsen is my doctor.
So what we're going to do is plan is we're going to go in the kitchen and we're going to do the meal prep. So I have for 50, 60 Sure.
We'll just follow Imam, the Sheikh. Yep.
So, sisters are here.
Assalamu alaikum. The heroes of the community. MashaAllah.
So I just want to give you a quick rundown so that you know what we're cooking today. We had chicken tandoori.
MashaAllah.
We did
MashaAllah.
right. Spinach.
MashaAllah.
So that's the main meal. So we're going to have little rice. And one of the sisters, can you just show us how to prepare the meal, so that we're going to follow that. So these are we already did 100 meals already ready.
MashaAllah.
And we're going to do another 50 or 60. So these meals that we're going to prep now, we're going to deliver that to the 100, that's the 7-Eleven. We have some day laborer.
MashaAllah.
So we're going to deliver that. The others, the people are going to come here and pick up, inshallah, about
MashaAllah.
125 meals from here.
Alhamdulillah.
So, alhamdulillah. And then, and then we have two types of soup. We have a chili soup, and we have
MashaAllah.
chicken corn soup. So, chili soup is already in the. So we don't have nothing to pour in the chili soup. Only left in this.
Okay.
To make your life easy. So we have. Let me just show you. The chicken soup.
MashaAllah.
And this is our chili soup.
Guys, you're doing ihsan here.
So
it's wonderful.
So it's
MashaAllah.
these are 32 ounce. These are all 32 ounce. So usually two people can have one.
MashaAllah.
And then
That's a lot of soup, brother.
Yeah, so it's Ramadan is actually
That's
very
amazing.
well.
That's amazing.
And even without Ramadan, I think we want to make sure we
Mashallah.
keep them hearty soup.
Mashallah.
All these meals been actually prepared by the sisters.
MashaAllah.
So every Saturday they come. And every
MashaAllah.
Saturday, from the morning, they do, and this all the menu.
They will not trust me with the cooking, would you? I don't think so. My wife does not trust me with the cooking. No, I'm not expecting you to trust me with that. Thank you, sister. Thank you. Thank you, my sister. Thank you. My wife kicked me out of the kitchen. But I can do only pack things, but I cannot cook. She said they don't know how to cook.
You want the box over here? Yeah, okay. It wants to. We should prepare maybe.
Yeah,
So there you go. 1 scoop of rice there.
Our wear the gloves and then.
It's fine. It's fine.
They follow the standards. Wearing gloves, also wearing a hat so that the hair does not come on the food.
That's right. You're
Yeah.
professionally dressed for this.
Yeah.
Here's the hat.
Uh-oh.
So what you can do is like maybe.
That's it.
Like this.
Yeah. One scoop of rice. There you
Only
go.
one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this.
That's it. That's the measure. Yeah. That's great. There you go. That's it. And then now they're gonna.
Then here. Let's see, I'm looking to the order of the sister who was very organized. Huh?
The whole leg, then one piece, and the half, then
Here?
Out over the rice. Yeah. There you go. Perfect.
Here? You are great sisters.
That's great. That's great. Well, that's professional. There you go. Oh, he's in the rhythm now. You can't stop him.
Yeah. I have to do more than one. Very good. Yeah. Good. You have to get some people on this. Okay? Yeah, come on. Yeah, you let me know. What they would like me to do. More right? Yeah. Okay, because I didn't know what I need to do.
That's good. Yeah. A little bit more of that. Finished. That's great.
So check one thing, come and cook your.
Yeah, I can cook stew. But don't tell my wife I did that because she's going to kick me out of the...
It's going to be a video, so how can you avoid that?
Yeah, you can give us that some Sudanese piece.
Yeah.
We can
Yeah.
put that.
So this recipe, they cook stew. What you do, how you cook it, you do, you cut a lot of onion, and then you do the onion, you put some like olive oil or something like that in the pan, and you let the color change of the onion become brown. After that, you put the meat, and you have the meat become a little bit uh, brown, and then you put the vegetable, whatever vegetable you want to put, and put the tomato paste, and yeah,
What is the name for the dish?
it's called mullah in Arabic.
Mullah.
Mullah.
We'll touch into.
Yeah, yeah.
Then who will
And
dish it?
then, but inshallah, I will come and do it.
Okay.
I will do a small dish, and if you approve it, sister, then we'll cook it to the public. If you say that, get out of here, no feeling hurt. I'll leave with that.
Mashallah, our sisters are very innovative, They're
Amazing.
coming up with different type of recipes. So one
This
week,
is really ihsan. You have done a wonderful job. Look at this.
so like this last week we did what charger, right? Lahori charger.
This better than Boston Market. You know Boston Market?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're better than it. Doing a good job. I used to buy my vegetables from Boston Market when I was single.
So currently we have like we do the peri peri chicken, we do Lahori charga, we do chicken tandoori, then we have Mediterranean grilled chicken. So these are like four standard.
Can't stop.
And then also we do okay, and then also we do like dal curry, right? Chicken dal curry. And we kind of rotate. So like this week you have this, next week you're gonna have a different menu.
Alhamdulillah. And the how many people are the kitchen at the time?
I mean, usually the Saturday the sisters, there are like 6 sisters come, and when the sisters are here, believe me or not, you don't need any extra volunteer. It's just like they take care of everything. And mashallah, we have a lot of volunteers in the community. They also come to help us out in the kitchen. Many volunteers come, they do the dishes, cleaning.
I can clean the dishes. I know how to do that at least.
Seriously.
When do you clean the dishes?
No, I mean,
Then we need to talk a little bit.
Yeah.
Make things better.
Yeah.
But okay, taking blood pressure pills is fine. But
I think if I do nutrition, because I have a relative of mine, he's off medication.
yeah, well, okay, let's talk about that then. I mean, we don't have to talk about your personal medical records, but we can talk about general stuff. But here I'm with the Sheikh. We're here at Serve a Meal, part of BDesh, and Imam Magid has been generous in coming. And if you saw how fast he was preparing those meals, I think it put everybody to shame here. But
I didn't know that I was live. Really, I didn't know that was live at that time. I spoke of my washing dishes and so forth. I thought I was just chatting with this guy here.
That's right. Well, I mean, what the Sheikh was saying is that he finds it therapeutic to wash the dishes and vacuuming. So we can use that sort of mindset and talk about some of the religious benefits of giving and gratitude. But tell me about the dishwashing and the vacuuming.
I think service in general, serving others should bring joy to us. And I would like to say that if we do service with open heart, you will find peace in your heart. If you do it and you are not happy with it and think that you have done somebody a favor, it's not going to bring that peace to your heart. What I just experienced today here at BDesh, at this beautiful facilities with the army of sisters who are volunteering, preparing those meals for people who are in need, it just brought a lot of comfort to my heart. Two things really give me hope: Ramadan and Hajj. The spirit of Ramadan and the spirit of Hajj, when I see Muslims coming together. But also what gives me hope when I come to something like this, the facility like this, where meals being prepared by Muslims, to be given to every human being, regardless of their faith and background. Because that's what Islam is all about. Islam is about serving humanity. And the best of us can come when we give. Therefore, if you are not volunteering in the facilities, you can donate money to help feeding people. There's a verse in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, actually a chapter in the Quran, called Al-Ma'un. Al-Ma'un is a chapter that deals with the generosity and giving. And by the way, it will be discussed on Adam's Facebook Live today or tomorrow. It's one of the chapters that I was speaking about in the chronological order of revelation of the Quran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, have you seen a person who rejects faith, who does not believe in next life? Then Allah described who that person looked like. He says, is the person who oppresses the orphan or neglect the orphan and does not advocate for feeding the needy. And the issue of feeding the needy have come so many times in the Quran. And matter of fact, God Almighty connect that to prayer. People who end up in punishment, in the judgment, Allah said, the angel asked him, why you come to this place? He says, لم نكن من المصلين, we never used to pray. ولم نكن نطعم المسكين, we never used to feed the poor and the needy. Therefore, what is happening here is faith in action and manifestation of the principles of Islam that ask all of us to advocate for feeding people. One thing I want to say, when I was just preparing the meal, I don't know if people have seen it. This is really quality food. Quality food. The rice, the spinach, the chicken, the soup. This is a quality food because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said, they spend and they feed people from the food that they love, not the food that they don't like and leftover thing. This is a fresh cooked food. That is the amazing things about this whole thing, that cooking fresh food and feeding people fresh food. May Allah reward all the volunteers and the board, the donors who helped this to happen.
Well, I mean, what the Sheikh said, very important, the operative word from a health perspective, he said, it's the whole food. It looks like the real food. A lot of times people give food, but it doesn't look like the food. A pizza is not real food. A sandwich is not real food. This is really what we call the whole food. And whole food has what we call macronutrients. and the macronutrients are what is nourishing. So you said a very important thing there.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying, that, there's a balanced meal here. You have the soup, you have some rice, vegetable, protein, the chicken, and I just was telling them, and the standards of the facilities, you have seen people washing dishes at the same time keeping the place clean. Just Allah bless the brothers and sisters in BDesh and the volunteers, as I said, and people who donate. We need to have more of this in reaching out and helping people.
I mean, and so the thing we're saying here is that the other thing I heard from you, I should say, was that you said with loving care, they're preparing the food with loving care. That's where the barakah comes from. I thought that was very, very deep.
Yeah, you give out of love. You don't give just because you want feeling sorry for somebody. You give out of love. You really care about them. You have empathy and love and compassion. And that's what I see here. Alhamdulillah, the amount of volunteers, people who are helping with this, all of them genuine people, mashallah. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give this spirit of Ramadan.
So another thing I just learned is that he's mentioned spirit and that love. I think when we're so busy with Ramadan, with our own fasting, our own prayers, that sometimes we're so busy we may forget that during the day you can actually indulge in things which can bring out this kind of love.
Absolutely. The reason that we fast in Ramadan is to have self-control, to increase our spiritual capacity, and to care about others. We feel the pain of others. And that's what we're doing here today in Ramadan. Allah bless
Thank you very much. Thank you. Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much. Yeah, let's take a look.
You could see people are going to be coming very soon, in 10-15 minutes. So they will come in here. That's going to be about 125 meals already here. So
are these for sale or these are for
No. That's
people that need it, they come pick it up.
Yeah, they're going to come and pick it up. And then we're going to take about a few meals from here and we're going to distribute it to the other side.
Inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Thank you for inviting me. You honored me actually being with you. Alhamdulillah. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum. Those part of the volunteer here.
Yeah.
Give it up, brother. Thank you. Young man, you're the future of this country, not only future of Islam, this country. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Shukran.